All right, now we're going to do deep neck flexor activation. So deep neck flexors are tiny little muscles that are deep in your neck that are postural muscles. They should be working a little bit all the time. But when we get into this forward drawn head posture where we're constantly looking down, or our neck ends up forward because our shoulders are hunched and our head is back, like so, it turns those deep neck flexors off. So we end up overusing SCM and the muscles in the back of our neck, those suboccipital muscles generally. So in order to retrain these, in addition to potentially needing to do some work to release the tension through here and here, which you can look at some of the lacrosse ball exercises to see how to do those releases. We want to follow any of that release up with an exercise to activate those deep neck flexor muscles. So I'm going to show you the seated version first because Dominique is sitting here right now, but then we'll do the laying version, which is actually a little bit simpler. So especially if you have a hard time figuring this one out as you're trying it at home, you'll want to do the laying version, okay? All right, so first things first, you want to make sure you're sitting nice and tall, feeling like there's a string pulling out of the crown of your head. So nice and tall, meaning long through the whole spine, not just extended or lifting, creasing in the low back or squeezing the shoulders together, right? So nice and tall here. Ears, shoulders, and hips should be stacked right on top of one another. You obviously are not going to have my hand to put behind you, but you can do this against a wall or a tall backed chair to give you something to push against. The car is a great place to do this exercise because that headrest is way up there, okay? So I'm going to put my hand right behind Dominique's back here. Her back and the back of her head should be touching my hand at the same time. So she's going to now tuck her chin just a little bit, not enough to give a double chin. If you are doing this and you're giving yourself a double chin, it means you're not tall enough through the rest of your spine and you're cheating and still having you're not able to bring it back well because you're not stacked correctly and you're cheating somewhere else, okay? So nice and tall, pulling back, pulling the chin and the nose back as if like I'm pushing her straight back. That looks lovely. As she's here, you're going to want to hold, or as you're there, you're going to want to hold that for 10 seconds at a time. And as you get better at holding it for 10 seconds, then you're going to continue to make that time that you're holding it longer and longer because these are postural muscles. They should be working all the time. You may notice that the place that starts to fatigue first is actually somewhere else in that spine. That's fine. Let that be, rest it, and then come back and find your place again so that all of those areas can be improving together, okay? You feel that deep in the neck right now, Dom?
Yes.
Excellent. Very good. And then you can relax. Great. All right, so the laying version of deep neck flexor activation is very similar to the seated version, but it is the simpler version. So if as you're sitting there, low back or shoulders start to get sore quickly before those deep neck flexors get tired, it's probably worth doing the laying version, okay? All right, so as you're laying here, you're growing tall through that spine, so there should be length from the spine to the tailbone. So if as you're laying here, you're noticing that there's a big arch in your back, I want you to squeeze your tush, lift the hips a little bit, rock them under so that you can flatten down and feel that sacrum, which is this little triangle bone back here. So you can feel that sacrum pushing into the ground, okay? You'll also, on your inhales and exhales, try to keep that pressure into the ground here. There are more in-depth breath videos as well, so if you're having a hard time keeping that down, as well as having the pressure in your tailbone and keeping your shoulders open, you'll want to check out some of those breathing videos, okay? So, as Dominique is laying here, nice long spine, pressure into the tail, pressure down through the back. That's going to help make sure she's got that good long spine we were talking about while she was seated. Now she's going to feel like someone's pushing her nose straight down into the ground. Good. Might feel like you're giving yourself a little bit of a double chin, but again, it should not actually give you a double chin. If you actually get a double chin, you're not in a good position. Just think about it like this. Nobody wants to walk around with a double chin, and people that are in very good shape certainly aren't walking around with a double chin. So you shouldn't be getting yourself into a posture or a position that is not desirable, right? Good luck.